Hey there and welcome. So today we're diving into a really fascinating dietary fiber called beta-glucan. And yeah, you've probably seen it on the label of your oatmeal, but what's really interesting is what the science is starting to suggest, that its most powerful work might be happening somewhere you'd never expect, your liver. So let's unpack what the research is actually telling us.
Okay, so to really get this, we first have to understand the problem we're trying to solve. There's a major health issue that's been quietly growing on a global scale, and it's all centered on the liver.
And here it is. We're talking about something called metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, or MASLD for short. Now, what's so striking about this is the sheer scale of the issue. This isn't some rare condition. It's actually the most common liver disease on the planet, and the numbers just keep climbing. So that brings up a really compelling question, right? When we're facing a health challenge this massive, one that directly impacts the liver, could part of the solution really be hiding in plain sight? In something as simple as the fiber in our breakfast? That's where researchers are starting to look at a potential helper. A very, very specific kind of dietary fiber that's building a really interesting story.
So, what is beta-glucan? Well, it's not just any old fiber. It's what's known as a non-digestible polysaccharide. And that's key. It means our bodies can't break it down up top in the stomach or small intestine. Instead, it makes this long journey completely intact all the way down to our gut, and that's where the magic really starts to happen.
And you've probably been eating beta-glucan for years without even giving it a second thought. It's packed into everyday foods like oats and barley, but you can also find it in the cell walls of yeasts, mushrooms, and even some types of seaweed.
But, and this is absolutely critical to understand, the story gets a lot more complex from here. Because it turns out, not all beta-glucans are created equal, and the way we study them introduces some really important details we need to pay attention to. For starters, check out this key difference in their physical properties. Beta-glucans from oats and barley, they're soluble. That means they dissolve in water and form this thick, kind of gooey gel. But the beta-glucan you get from, say, baker's yeast is insoluble. It doesn't do that. And this physical difference is a huge deal, because it completely changes how they act inside our bodies. And this table really shows just how much the source matters based on studies done in mice. For instance, one study found that oat beta-glucan was fantastic at reducing liver inflammation and scarring. Another saw that barley beta-glucan was a rock star at cutting down LDL cholesterol and fat buildup. And then you have baker's yeast, which seemed to reduce fat and improve how the body handled glucose. See? Different sources, different primary effects. Okay, now I really need to emphasize this point. The incredibly detailed findings we're talking about, the ones that get into the how and the why all this works, they almost all come from preclinical research. We're talking about studies in animal models, mostly mice. This work is absolutely foundational, but it's not the final word when it comes to human health. But that foundational work is paving the way for human research. And this quote from a 2023 pilot study really captures the excitement perfectly. The researchers saw enough promising signs that they're basically saying, hey, we need to do much bigger, more definitive clinical trials here. They really want to explore the potential for preventing fatty liver disease. So here's the big question. If the beta-glucan isn't even being digested, how in the world is it helping the liver? Well, it's not a direct hit. The secret lies in a really crucial relationship in our body called the gut-liver axis. The easiest way to think about the gut-liver axis is like a superhighway. You've got this major vein, the portal vein, that runs directly from your intestines to your liver. That means anything in your gut, good stuff, bad stuff, has a direct one-way ticket straight to the liver. This makes the health of your gut incredibly important for the health of your liver. So here's the whole chain reaction, step by step. First, that undigested beta-glucan arrives in the gut, and it essentially becomes a feast for all the good bacteria living there. Those bacteria thrive, and as they do, they actually help strengthen the gut wall, making it less leaky. And with a stronger barrier, fewer of those inflammatory signals can escape and travel down that superhighway to the liver. So the final result? A whole lot less stress and inflammation in the liver. It's a perfect example of helping the liver by taking care of the gut first. All right, let's pull all this together and look at the big picture that the research, especially these detailed animal studies, is painting for us. I think this table really sums it up nicely. Different beta-glucan sources are like different tools in a toolkit.
The one from oats seems to tackle inflammation by stopping bits of bacteria from crossing over to the liver. The one from barley is great at boosting the production of these beneficial compounds called short-chain fatty acids. And the one from yeast, it seems to cause this broader, positive shift in the entire gut microbiome.
So let's just recap the 4 big takeaways here. Number 1, the promise we're seeing in animal models is huge. Number 2, source is everything. Oat, barley, and yeast beta-glucans are not interchangeable. Number 3, the benefit to your liver is indirect. It all starts with improving your gut health first. And finally, number 4, we still need more human trials, but the early signs are definitely pointing in a very exciting direction.
And all of this leaves us with a final, pretty cool thought. If different fibers can create different effects by feeding different parts of our gut ecosystem, well, we might be heading toward a future where we move beyond just saying, eat more fiber. We could be choosing specific, personalized fibers to target very specific health outcomes. Thanks so much for tuning in.